International FDP on futuristic research Day-1/MECH. Okay, va?
ஆமா சார் Day-1 போட்டு டேட் போடுங்க. சரி நான் வந்து டேட் மென்ஷன் பண்ணுங்க. அப்பதான் டேட் வைஸ் Sir, good afternoon, sir.
సార్ రాగినయ్యారా ఎస్ఆర్ఎం ఉంది ఎస్ఆర్ఎం ఫ్యాకల్టీ డెవలప్మెంట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేస్తుంది ఎస్ఆర్ఎంది రాగినయ్యారా అవండి అవబోయారా
Professor, good morning. Good afternoon, Professor. Sir, Chief Guest, sir.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hearing.
Yes, sir. Sir, Chief Guest, sir.
Yes, Professor.
So, Professor, I made you as a co-host.
Okay, Professor.
You can check it right now that your slides are sharing or not. Just for check it.
Sure, Professor.
Yes, sir. Sir, okay, sir.
It's visible, but I'm not able to move the slides. So just installation error. Is it clear, Professor, now?
Yes, sir, it is clear, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So, after your introduction, you can share your PPT, sir.
No problem.
Okay, sir. Since we have to go for this Amitabh prayer song and writing of the then after you can share it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Sir, yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
The video on button, sir, please. Yes, sir. என்ன எண்மணி போன் எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா இப்போ சார் so good afternoon to all the gathering. Research means that if you don't know, but you are willing to find out with this small code, I request our vice principal academics, head of the department, Dr. G. Prabhakaran sir, to welcome the gathering as well as address the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Tanigivelan. Respected Director, SRM IFT Ramapuram Campus, respected Dean, Dr. Murali Krishna, beloved Vice Principal, Dr. Jagadishan, and head of the departments, professors, faculty members, and most important to the aspiring faculty members who are registered for this program, this 6 days program on futuristic research in mechanical engineering. On behalf of SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus, on behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering, on behalf of the faculty members of Mechanical Engineering, and on my own behalf, I would like to extend a cordial welcome to all the members who are present here for this inaugural session of the 6 days faculty development program. Indeed, I extend my warm
Sir, audio missing. Sir. VP, sir.
Sir, VP, sir.
VP, sir.
the industries to come closer, work together.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, in between, your voice was not audible, sir.
Am
For
I audible
the
now?
past, you are audible now, sir. For the past 30 seconds, you are not
Okay,
audible.
okay. Anyway, I just repeat it.
Yeah,
I think I welcomed all the people who are present for this program. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then sir, I would like to have a special welcome to Dr. Rajesh Ravi, Assistant Professor, School of Aerospace and Automotive Engineering, who has accepted our invitation being with us today for this 6 days FDP inaugural session of the 6 days FDP program. So now we are very well aware that everyone is aware that we are living in the era of digital technology, where enormous amount of advancements is taking place in every engineering aspects. And it is very significant in the mechanical engineering domain, which makes the industries in different fields under mechanical engineering to come closer, to have a joint venture, so that the technological transformation is quickly converted to reality to help the society. So in that aspect, especially under mechanical, it is very obvious and much visible in the design and manufacture of automotive machineries, which have become highly integrated with the aid of smart manufacturing, industry 4.0, IoT, that is Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and humanoids, augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality. Like so many kind of technology, really, they are now getting infused into the mechanical engineering domain, especially in manufacturing, in automotive sector, and other kind of sector. And also additive manufacturing also now it is largely seen, in fact, because it is actually replacing the conventional machines, where which high flexibility is there, highly complicated profiles can easily be generated through CAD/CAM, then stereographic process through CNC. We could be able to generate a complicated model through which we can bring the one which is highly felt impossible in conventional process. So unless otherwise, the faculty members and the students who are to be supposed to be aware of all these developments, they may not be able to survive in the future. They will not be in a position, even they'll be simply a holder, a degree holder, and cannot be able to contribute to the welfare of the society or boosting up the economy through manufacturing area. To meet out this expectation, definitely this kind of FDP will definitely pave way for the attendees to listen to the experienced people who will share their knowledge, so that definitely it will make the attendees to think of, give thought process, develop the thought process over the points what they do receive, and further build it over on this. Like in manufacturing also, a lot of advancements are taking place in nanofluids and energy storage devices, modern mechatronics and automation technologies. In all these domains, the newest technology actually now started stepping into, and will soon encourage that. And I strongly believe that this 6 days program has been well planned, packed with experienced faculty members, especially in research, who will be with you for the next 6 days, share their knowledge. And I wish the input gained by the every attendees will one or other way help them to build, to grow in their career. With these few words, I wish this program a grand success, and thank you very much the organizers for giving this wonderful opportunity to address in this gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your welcoming address as well the in-depth motivational speech. And right now, I request one of the coordinator, Veteran sir, to introduce about our chief guest.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Please
sir.
proceed.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Rajesh Ravi. Dr. Rajesh Ravi is working as assistant professor in the School of Aerospace and Automotive Engineering at International University of Rabat, Morocco. He is graduated from Madras Institute of Technology, Anna University, Chennai, with masters in automobile engineering, as well as a PhD in automobile engineering. Sir have published so many number of journals in peer-reviewed journals. His works in peer-reviewed journals. His current research interests focus on waste heat recovery, combustion engines, pollution control, heat transfer, electric vehicles, heat exchangers, as well as materials. SAR has done collaborative research projects in the field of exhaust heat recovery from automotive engines, funded by Dilla University School of Automotive Engineering, Ethiopia. Also, we have done a funded project on design and development of exhaust heat recovery system and emission reduction technology for multi-cylinder CRDI engine in collaboration with the CNRST, which were worth around 10 lakhs. With this short introduction, I request our chief guest to handle the session. I welcome you, sir.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. V. Thanigavelan sir for arranging such a wonderful faculty development program. Also, thanks for him providing me such an opportunity, as well as for the SRM management. And I would like to dedicate my today's presentation to my beloved supervisor, Dr. P. Chandalkumar sir, because he was the one made me to attend such kind of faculty development programs and workshops regarding these paper publications and other things. So that is the driving force for me to do a presentation on this particular topic. And with these few words, I would like to share my PPT and also to discuss about the same. Are you able to see my
Yes, sir.
slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the today's title is how to get your research published and then noticed. Actually, I have taken the content from Elsevier. Actually, you can find this kind of contents from Sage, Springer, Taylor and Francis, and all the publishers. But I have taken reference from Elsevier. And the contents of today's presentation, like introduction about this, how to publish a paper, and journal finder, journal metrics, open access options, and prepare your paper, and title, the body of the context, like introduction, and again methods and materials, results, discussion and conclusions, acknowledgements, references, language quality, and ethics. And this presentation will be very useful for the researchers, those who have started the research, and it may not be new or it may not be more informative for the PhD holders, but anyhow, it will be useful to revise or refresh the research publication related things. So generally, the research is very important, as Professor Vice Principal discussed before. So the research is the main key and main element to achieve all the latest technologies and latest things, whatever we have today. And without research, we can't achieve this much technologies. So the researchers, generally you make huge strides in advancing essential knowledge. Essential knowledge, and your achievements can save lives and improve the way we live. So if you are ready to share your knowledge with the world, so we need to go for publishing option, and we need to publish through some reputed journals or reputed publishers. So the first question we have to ask ourselves, like, do I have or do we have a story to tell? And editors and reviewers, generally, they look for original and innovative research that adds to their field of study. Like generally, we should check ourselves, like whether our work, our research is having any new information or original information to share with the audiences. So in that aspect, we have to ask the first question with us, and we have to prepare the article. And here, the conclusions of our article must be very sound, so that it will be easy to go through the publication process. And second question, we have to ask ourselves, is there any audience for my research findings? So we may do research on different domains or different areas, but we should know that whether our work has audience or not. And more original and innovative research, like more people will pay more attention to listen those particular work. So consider whether your research is of interest to a local, regional, international audience, because some work we will do based on the particular location, like a rural area, or particular country or something. Like we should find the area of interest, like whether it is okay for international audience, it is only for Indian audience, or it's only for Tamil Nadu people. Like we have to categorize the research of interest. And generally, there are several types of research articles. We should know that these are all the four options, like letters and rapid or short communications, and review papers summarize like recent developments on a specific topic without introducing new data. So we generally go through these two options, like review papers and full articles. So most of us, we publish review paper, otherwise the full article. So mostly we don't go for letters and rapid communications, but there are options to publish letters and rapid or short communications as well. And the full review paper means it's development of specific topic without introducing new data. Just we are going to present the recent developments, like we are going to give summarization of the others' work. And full articles containing significant data, detail, developments and outcomes, and research elements enable you to publish research output, data, software, methods, videos, and much more in brief citable articles. So these are all the different research articles we can go for publication. And maximize your article's visibility. So how we can maximize article visibility? So our work is not getting done only with the publication. Actually, we have to improvise the article's visibility. So that means, so your article should be referred by the other researchers, and your article should be useful for future researchers as well. Like we should find the right journal for the article. This is the main issue. We fail to do that. Actually, we should find the appropriate journal for our research work. We should not publish with any like a unknown or unfamiliar journals. Like we should pay more attention to the particular part. We have to find the appropriate journal for our research work, and like take into consideration the type of article you would like to publish, like a full length review article or research output, and check references in your article. So by checking the references, you can get clarity like which journal will be most suitable for that, because you might have referred the most relevant journals to your work. So by seeing your reference list, you will get good idea about your area of work and the suitable journal. And again, read the journal's aim and scope of the journal homepage. So if you want to publish with energy conversion and management, for an example, so just go to that energy conversion and management journal website page and read their aim and scope. So just compare with your work and their aim and scope. If it is matching with that, you can go for the further process. Otherwise, you don't need to move with that. So this is the way we have to check with every journal, and check if the journal is invitation only. Some journals, like they don't allow us to submit the journals. For example, Nature, and there are some well-branded journals like they may have the impact factor more than 35 or 50. So they may not allow us to submit directly. So they will ask us to submit some overview of the article, and they will give an invitation to submit the articles. So in those type of journals, we should not submit directly, and that will be no use. Like you no need to do that type of work. So we have to go through that procedure as well, and submit your paper to only one journal at a time. So this is very important. Some of the researchers, like they will submit article at a time to many journals. So this will cause you big problem, because nowadays the editors are having the option to see that. So if you are submitting, for example, at a time to the same article in Taylor and Francis, and you are submitting at the same time to Elsevier or Springer, so it is easy to identify. So editor easily can see that. So the article already submitted and already under the review. So this will cause a big issue, and it's based on the ethics. And avoid multiple submissions at a time. And journal finder, and here this is very clear. Like every journal, they have their journal finder. So in which you can type your, you can paste your title of the work and abstract and keywords. By saying that, it will show you the particular suitable journal. So an Elsevier journal will be recommended if it has published articles that are highly similar to your article, and generally based on your work, based on your title, based on your abstract, it will show the appropriate journal. For example, I can show you now. You can see journal finder in Elsevier. I'm just going to show you how we can find this. And now I'm going to take my one of my article, which is ready for submission. So I have pasted the title, then the abstract. Again, I'm going to select the keywords. Just paste your keywords. And now you can go for the option find journals. Like it is showing 49 journals matching your paper. So based on my title and abstract and keywords, there are 49 journals shown. So here I can see their details like site score, impact factor, acceptance rate, and time to first decision and time to publication. So I can view all this, and I can select according to my interest. Like I know already which is the best journal for my work, but I can clarify, and as well I can select easily. So this is the way. For example, if I am selecting energy journal, so I can go through that website, and I can check in detail about the particular journal as well. So you can go to the journal website, And here you can find whether it is having the publishing option, open access, subscription. So it is having both the options, and you can read the full aim and scope. And for an example, you can download an article to view their quality, and that will give you more idea about your article standard or article level. Like you can select one most downloaded article, and you can download it as well, like view PDF. So this is to understand about your article situation. Like you can compare the work and what is their expectation, what kind of, like you can come download one review article, one external article. If you want to publish with this particular journal, so just you can go through their standard and the references, everything. So that will give you full idea about this particular journal. So this is the way. So this is the way we have to check the journal finder with every journals. Even this is applicable for Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, and Springer. Everywhere you can find. So this is the professional way to find the suitable journal. And the next information is journal metrics. So this is also one of the important point. Mostly we fail to analyze the site score and source normalized impact per paper and SJR, Simaho journal rank. So by using this SJR, we can understand about the journal quality and the journal publishing legal availability, like a lot of things like impact factor, and whether they are coming under Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or which is not having any rank. Everything can be identified, and impact factor also. So these are all the main criteria we can find. We have to check before submitting article to particular journal. So mainly we should focus on SJR and impact factor as well as site score. So this we can check. We have to check compulsorily. So by checking these things, we can identify the predatory or fraudulent journals. There are many fake websites, like fake journals roaming in the website, and just they will publish your article for a few days and they will remove and they will move out of it. And so you have to check in this way. And open access options. This is another important place, like people still having a lot of confusion. There are two types of open access options. One is cold open access and another one is green open access. So in case of gold open access, the publish in open access journal or the journal which supports open access. So this completely, so immediately your article will be visible for all the readers throughout the world, and it can be downloaded by anyone. Actually, in this cold open access, you have to pay full money. Yourself or the institution or the funding agency will pay the publication fee for publishing the particular article. So in terms of your, for example, in Elsevier, like $150 to $5,000. So this open access just to show your visibility of your article, like it is to improve the visibility and readers' visibility purpose. And this doesn't mean that if you are ready to pay, the article will be published. So they will not compromise with the quality. The open access options doesn't mean that you can easily publish the article without having a proper quality of the content. So we have to pay more attention on that. Another one is green open access. So author no need to pay any money. So they will go for the subscription option. So the particular journal, the publisher will cover those pieces by library subscriptions. For example, our SRM institution. So the SRM institution library will subscribe to some journals and they will pay money for the particular publishers. In that way, they will cover, and we no need to pay. But we have even some limitations. We can't upload our full manuscript in a particular research crate or somewhere. So maybe for a few years, we are not allowed to share this full article in public forum like social media, LinkedIn, or wherever. You can't upload the details because you are not paid for this particular publication. So this is the difference between cold open access and green open access. So mostly as a research scholars, as Indian researchers, we will go for this green open access, like sharing your subscription article. So we'll not go for the cold open access, and that is not necessary for us as well. If we have more fund, for example, if developed countries like US and other countries, they don't bother about $3,000 or $2,500 because they focus on their more visibility of their article and they just pay and publish it in open access. So this is where we have to be very careful with the open access options. And now we are entering into prepare your paper. So how to prepare your article, and again the title. So while seeing this slide, I am remembering one of my professor, Dr. Lakshmanan Tangavellu. Actually, he is also working in SRM Institute. I always used to discuss my research work or my article related things with him. When I was preparing an article for my PhD things, and he guided me these things. The title is the main advertisement for your article. A great title entices the audience to read on. So try to give some interesting and informative and innovative title. So poorly titled article may never reach its target readers. It's like our movie titles. Based on the title, it will have some attraction. So try to provide appropriate and most interesting title for your work. And your article's title should reflect its content clearly. So the title and content should have the relevancy. So if it is not having any relevancy, that will give a very negative impact during the review stage. And make it a title like catchy and keep it specific. Leave out phrases such as a study of, investigation into, observations on, and avoid using abbreviations. And mostly we have to avoid using abbreviations. So maybe we may think that it is very common abbreviation, but it's not for all. So it's better to avoid abbreviations in the title. And remember too that abstracting and indexing services depend on accurate titles. As well as another point I want to highlight here, just copy your title and paste it in the Google and search the relevancy. If the same title already existing means it is very difficult to abstract and indexing. So you can compare your title with the existing titles. So you have to give some new and catchy titles. And essentially effective titles like identify the article's main issue and are accurate and unambiguous, specific and complete, and begin with article's subject matter and are as short as possible. So it should not be more lengthy and like are enticing and interesting. They make people want to read further. So we have to pay all these attentions before preparing a title. So give more importance to the title and make it very clear. And next, authors. So in this point, generally we add a lot of authors, like try to avoid adding more number of authors. Only authors who have made an intellectual contribution to the research should be credited. Those who will take responsibility for the data and conclusions and who have approved the final manuscript. And the order of credited names can be vary between disciplines. And again, the corresponding author may not always be the first author. So we should be very clear. The first author credit will not be taken by someone, and the corresponding author credit will not be taken by others. So mostly first author and corresponding author may not always be the first author, particularly for the research scholars, those who have started the research and those who are in a stage to publish their first article. Better leave your correspondence position to your supervisors. That will add you advantage for your publication, because you can be a first author and the corresponding author, if you leave it to your supervisor and he's the one going to communicate and publish all these things, go through the process, so he'll have more visibility already. So it will be better for you, and the first author credit will not be affected. So pay more attention on this, and it is not necessary to have corresponding author and first author be the same. And keyword list. So next to the authors, we will move on to the keyword list. And keywords also very important. Like most journals request a list of keywords. So important words that along with those in the title capture the research effectively, and keywords used by abstracting and indexing services, choosing the right ones to increase the chances of your article being found by other researchers. So who can suggest or who can find the appropriate keywords? So the one who drafted the article, the one who prepared the article can easily conclude the needful keywords and the best keywords from that particular article. So many LCV journals ask for subject classification as well. So you have to look into these things. So you have to select the appropriate keywords related to your manuscript and you have to place it. And the body of the text, introduction. This is also one of the important part actually in the article. And we should be very clear with the introduction chapter, like what we are going to discuss in the introduction. So make the introduction brief. So introduction, you have to explain very brief, and it should provide context and background, but not be history lesson. So you should not extend more historical explanations. So it should state the problem. So within the introduction, you should state the problem being investigated and its contextual background and the reasons for conducting the research. This is also a very important parameter. And state the questions you are answering and explain any findings of others that you are challenging or furthering. So introduction, generally we may add literature part, but the literature part which are more relevant to our work, and by comparing those articles, we are preparing the better one. So we have to select those articles and you have to write about that. That's what they are telling. Explain any findings of others that you are challenging or furthering, and briefly and logically lead the reader to your hypothesis, research questions, and experimental design or method. At the end of introduction, we should discuss about the objective of the work. So in this particular article, we have discussed and then we have done this numerical simulation, we have done this experimental part, we have compared, like all these objectives should be drafted or written very clearly end of the introduction. So this is how we have to prepare the introduction. Next to the introduction, also called materials and methods or experimental methods. So here, this section should be detailed enough that readers can replicate your research and access whether the methods justify the conclusions. So for example, if you take a single cylinder diesel engine, so most of the researchers worked with the same type of engine. So certain materials and methods are common, but no need to explain more because you can give the reference value and citations about that and you can use that one. And it's advisable to use the past tense. So in methods and materials, better to use past tense, and it's about what you did, and avoid using the first person. And also this will vary from journal to journal. And ultimately, you should explain how you studied the problem and identify the procedures you followed. And just highlight your procedures, whatever you have done, you have gone through the work, and structure this information as logically as possible. If your methods are new, you will need to explain them in detail. And if they have been published before, cite the original work. So this cite the original work is very important. So always we should give the credibility to the work which is done by others. If you are taking some part from the particular researcher's work, you have to cite their work, and that will give you the proper direction, and including amendments if you have made modifications. And identify the equipment and the materials we used, specifying their source, and state the frequency of observations and what types of data were recorded. Give precise measurements, stating their strength and weakness when necessary. So we have to focus in this way in the methods and materials. And results. So in the results also, generally we do a lot of mistakes, and we should avoid those mistakes. So we can see here, this section should present your findings. So you should discuss about your numerical findings and explaining them largely in text. And it's where you should show your results contribute to the body of scientific knowledge. And so be clear and logical, and don't exaggerate something with the results. So you should not be more advanced, or like we can compare, for example, thermal efficiency of the particular engine means it is within the particular limit range. You should not exceed. So if you exceed something, it will show that something is very wrong. So be clear with the numerical results highlighting part. And it is important not to interpret your results that comes in the discussion and conclusion section. And you can base the sequence of this text on the tables, figures, and graphs that best present your findings. Emphasize any significant findings. And here I would like to add one more point. So please use some standard softwares for preparing the graphs. So for example, if you use the Excel, the clarity will miss. So there are some softwares for preparing the graphs, simple softwares, it's not difficult. For example, Origin. So we used the Origin software, and that will give you more clarity in the graph, and that will be more attractive, and it can explain the particular point very clearly. So focus in that way. And figures and tables very important. The figures quality, you have to ensure the quality and some novelty and some innovation in the figures. You have to focus. And tables and figures must be numbered separately, and figures should have brief but complete description, a legend or like that reveals how the data was produced. And the figures or tables should be referred in the text as well. So mostly we add the figures and we forget to include in the text. So in the text we should highlight and we should explain it. the figure shows something like that, you have to include and explain. This is very important in the results. And whereas in discussion and conclusions, this is where they describe the meaning of your results. Like we are going to explain about the work, and you are going to justify your work, how you received these results, and what is the main reason for achieving these particular results. And you should link this section back to the introduction, referring to your questions or presentations, and cover how the results relate to your expectations and cited sources. And do the results support or contradict existing theories? Are there any limitations? And you can also suggest further experiments. So this is also one of the needful information, like end of conclusion, like end of introduction, end of conclusion, you can add or you can suggest further experiments, uses and extensions. Also, you can explain about some applications of your work. So above all, the discussion should explain how your research has moved the body of scientific knowledge forward. This is important. And again, your conclusions must be supportable and not extend beyond your results. As I mentioned earlier, you should not extend beyond your results. So avoid undue speculation and bold judgments about the impact. So try to present it very formally and diplomatically. And this is also a good place to suggest practical applications. This is also I already mentioned, like you have to suggest the practical applications of your work, and the future work can be done with your particular research also can be highlighted. And to summarize, make sure that your results directly support your conclusions, and you use specific expressions and quantitative descriptions, like 12 degrees higher instead of that a higher temperature. Like you have to use the phrases very carefully, and you only discuss what you defined early in the paper. So don't introduce the reader to whole new vocabulary. Sometimes we may think that we can use some extraordinary vocabulary or some new vocabulary. Don't think in that way. Try to write your article in a simple way, because the audience should read it very easily, because a reviewer will not have the time to read and understand all the new vocabularies. Just use the normal vocabularies which are relevant to your work. So if you missed an important term, go back to the introduction and insert it. And all interpretation and speculations are based on fact, not imagination. And acknowledgements. So this is after the conclusion. So keep acknowledgements brief, naming those who helped with your research, contributors or suppliers, those who provided free materials. And you should also disclose any financial or other substantive conflict of interest that could be seen to influence your results or interpretation. So generally, if the project work led to something funded project, we should highlight those details. And the research scholars also, we should pay more attention on the acknowledgements, and we should get acceptance with your supervisor before submitting an article. And again, available via journal homepages and journal citation reports, like Clarity Analytics, you can get it in the particular journal website. And references. So here also we should pay more attention. And this is one of the important part, but we people are thinking that references are not that much important, because the new research builds on previously published work. So research only. Hello.
Sorry, please continue, sir. Participants, please keep note on your sides. Sir, you can continue, sir, please. Sir, Rajesh, sir. Sachit, sir. You can continue, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So pay more attention to the references. So like the format of citations and references varies. So for each journal, they have their own format for reference citations. So for example, if you are submitting to our journal Energy, you have to follow their template for the references. Don't put some other templates. So that will be easy for the editor and the processing levels. Like easily they can process and easily they can publish it easily. So we have to pay more attention on this also. So based on the journal requirement, we have to prepare the format of citations and language quality. So this is very, very important place actually. So a scientific article should report your findings and conclusions as clearly and concisely as possible. To achieve this, try to avoid unnecessary words or phrases. Keep it simple. I already mentioned you this. Keep it simple and use active writing when possible. For example, carbon dioxide was consumed by the plant is passive, and active writing shortens this phrase to the plant consumed carbon dioxide. And I generally recommend my friends and researchers, please give this your article before the submissions. Just do the language proofreading with native speaker. So you may not spend more money for that, and there are many people available to do this language proofreading. In terms of Indian cost, they will not collect more than 2,000 or 3,000 rupees. It's better to spend and check the complete article language proofreading, so that it will be useful, because most of the cases the editor will revert our article, like we mentioning we are receiving a number of articles, we are ignoring that and all. Like indirectly they look into the abstract and conclusion and the language. If they are not okay, they simply they will not take it into the review stage itself. So please pay more attention and spend more money and do language proofreading. This is very important, so that your article will easily go through the review stage. At least it will move to the review stage. So tense is important. For known facts and hypotheses, use the present tense. Like the average life expectancy of a honeybee is 6 weeks, but use the past tense when referring to the experiments you have conducted. All the honeybees were maintained in an environment with consistent temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. Like this is an example. Like we have to see the language, active voice, passive voice, present tense, past tense, where we have to use present tense, where we have to use past tense. Now we must be very clear. So in this way, we have to pay more attention to language quality and ethics. So this is also one of the main part in the publication process. Understanding the boundaries in scientific research and publishing a key step in making sure your work gets off to the best start. So scientific misconduct and breach of publishing ethics can take different forms. So this will cause authorship disputes, competing interest. So authorship disputes means deliberately misrepresenting a scientist's relationship with published work. And before adding anyone as a co-author, please get their consent with their full permission. After showing the article to them, you have to add their name. And at least they should contribute in some of the part. And you must be very clear with this. Don't simply add someone's name as a co-author, and that will lead into some different issues. And continued by this plagiarism. So generally in NNST we use Urgun and Turnitin. Like there are many plagiarism checking softwares that will show the plagiarism similarity index of the article. And simultaneous submission, I already told you this. Simultaneous submission will lead a lot of issues, and that can be identified by the editor. And research fraud, like including fabrication, like manipulating, falsification of the research data, tables and or images. Try to avoid this kind of activities. And salami slicing up. What is this slicing up? So splitting the article into n number of articles. Yes, single article can be divided like into many articles and publishing like 3-4 articles. That is also not good, and that will cause a problem. And ethics in research and publications program is a collaboration between Elsevier and an independent panel of experts. Because once they retract your article, your name will be blacklisted and you can't publish with any other journals, because they can easily see your name in the blacklisted list. So be careful with the ethics and publishing things. Thank you all for listening. If you have any queries, I can give some replies. Also, my professors can suggest. Actually, I am infected by corona, but I don't want to tell this to Professor Tanigavelan. So just I tried to manage and continue this presentation. That's why there was some
Sir,
disturbances.
sir,
No, it's okay
I'm
here.
really sorry, Professor.
No problem, Professor. It's fine. It's fine. I just.
So really thanking for you that that effort which you have taken, and even though you are in an abnormal position, really thanking you, sir. So participants, if you have any queries, you can ask right now. Since we have to begin as soon as possible for taking this. Participants, if you have any queries, you can have a discussion with our chief host. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, is this audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Audible,
yes,
sir.
yes, Professor. Yes.
Sir, my name is Prashant, sir. I'm working in the Ishwar Engineering College.
Yes, Professor.
So I have a query, sir. Is it good to publish in an open access journal, sir?
Yeah, it's based on your needs, sir. For example, if you are having the fund, you have no issues with the fund, you can go for open access. And elsewhere, in any branded journal also, there is an open access option. Okay, but generally, mostly we will go for the subscription one. Subscription means we no need to pay. For example, if you go with the MTPA, all the journals are like open access, and you need to pay. Like they will quickly publish the article, but they will not also compromise with the quality. Like the article must be quality enough. And it's better no need to go with open access if you are not having sufficient fund and something. But if you publish through open access, definitely that will add a great advantage because it can be easily downloaded by everyone and it will be more visible to the universal audiences. Like they can easily download and your article will get more citations and there will be more impact.
Okay, it's a good one, sir. But for example, if I'm asked because I work with my supervisor, I made my supervisor to apply for few stops. I helped with them, sir. But as I come across, I face the issues like the open access journal doesn't allow any points for the promotion process.
No, definitely not, sir. Actually, there are some fraudulent journals. Just they collect the money and publish any type of contents. If you take LC, where, for example, based on your domain, applied thermal engineering or some Q1 journals, every journal has an option for open access. So open access will add more credibility to the author and for citations. So there is no connection between the quality and something about open access.
No, not the quality one I'm saying, sir. Suppose if I'm promoting from assistant to associate professor means, if I'm applying for some NIT or IITs means they are not taking into consideration the open access journals. The only one that's published.
Maybe there may be some misunderstanding about this open access. Like there are some journals like MTP or something only open access option, but you go through the LC where it's having both the options, sir. It's up to your concern. As per my experience and my understanding, I never seen this kind of issues like open access.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, sir. Please.
Sir, I have one doubt. If I am writing a review paper, means if I want to take the pictures from another journal paper, means so what is the procedure to get it, sir?
Yes, sir. Actually, you can cite that particular figure. Below the figure, you can add source. For example, if the article belongs to Tanigavelan sir, means a source in the bracket, Tanigavelan et al. And you can cite the same in the references as well. And during the publication stage, if editor or review editor asks you to get permission, means you have to mail the particular author and you got to get the permission, sir. This is the procedure, but you are allowed to take their images and you are allowed to cite their contents since the article is a review article.
Thank you, sir.
You have to give the value for the work. That's it. You have to cite their work.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, anybody else? Now I request one of our coordinator, Dr. Futuristic, sir. Please go for the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening to all present here for this International Faculty Development Program on Futuristic Research in Mechanical Engineering. On behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus, Chennai, I am very much glad to have this opportunity to thank you all at this international FDP. First of all, I thank our resource person of this session, Dr. Rajesh Ravi, for giving his consent on his busy schedule for this excellent presentation on how to get your research published and noticed. In spite of health issue, Sir have joined us for this session. We are able to understand his passion towards knowledge sharing. It was much inspiring, sir. Actually, in under this kind of circumstance, no one will commit this kind of knowledge discussion. Why? Because we know that it was a meticulous task to speak under illness. Even then, Sir have accepted and have spent more than an hour with us to share his wide knowledge on the area of publication. Sir have very elaborately discussed the ways to exhibit the research work starting from title to references so that we can get them published in quality journals. Sir have explained in a meticulous way how to pass through all the important phases in publishing our research work. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful time with us. Also, I take this opportunity to thank our honorable chairman, co-chairman, respected director, respected dean ENT, respected vice principal academics and vice principal admin, as well as our beloved head of the department for providing opportunity to conduct this FDP. Finally, I take the opportunity to thank all the participants and the faculty members of our department and other department of Ramapuram campus for their thirst for learning and patient listening. Last but not least, I take this opportunity to thank the coordinators and organizers of this program. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So thank you everyone for the support. Thank you, Professor. So I'm leaving.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please take care. Sir. Please take care.
Thank you.
God will give you all the strength and stay blessed. Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Kindly give your valuable feedback.
Sir, attendance is mandatory. Feedback is mandatory for getting certificates. So I request all the participants, please fulfill the feedback link for securing your valuable certificates. Thank you, one and
all. Participants may leave after filling the feedback. The link for the tomorrow's session will be shared in the WhatsApp group. Thank you, one and all. After filling the feedback link, you may leave.